Bray J here. Hopefully your day and week is going well. We made it to Thursday. Always a moment of reflection for me, getting this far. I am not in Austin tonight. I am in Louisiana. I'm here at home. I am visiting family. And so far, things have been really great. I moved to Austin in August, so this is my first time being home since the move, and I didn't know what it was going to be like, to be honest. I have a long stream here. I pulled the hat out literally last minute. It's been really cool, though. Seeing family, seeing a few key people in my life, and I'm very grateful. It's interesting, 5 months going by, what that duration is like coming back home, and I'm interested to see what the next 5-6 months in the year will be like. So, there we go. Are you visiting family, or are you staying where your new home is, or where your home has been? I'm curious, let me know in the comments if you're watching. I fixed me some hot cocoa. Hadn't had any in a while, so I decided to go ahead and do that. Swiss Miss was our family preference. And I brought out the journal again, and I figured we could do something together, so we're going to see how that goes. I was thankful when I got here. It's cold here, and not really cold. When I say cold, I mean like 40s, 50s, kind of like what it was in Austin, so not too far off base. But my body definitely noticed the difference. I don't know if it's like the pollen, the trees, humidity, whatever it may be, but definitely noticed that part. And I always talk to you about sinuses and how moving to Austin has changed everything. Even me traveling to Vegas last month, it was interesting just how my body responds. I wouldn't say I'm envious, but for people who don't have to deal with those type allergies, sinuses, and they can just travel and it doesn't impact them, you have such an amazing life and you don't even know it. Like, oh my gosh, I wish that were me. Being back home, we talked about family, I believe the last 2 episodes of Wide Awake, just kind of the dynamic. Some people, holidays are not necessarily a good thing for them, meaning there is a past, maybe some things happened that were not ideal, maybe some things that were traumatic or triggering, and so maybe they try to avoid family or certain spaces during this time of year, and all of which I find very understandable, because I've had things in my past where I'm like, I don't want to venture into this area or see these certain people, especially during the holidays. So we all have our reasons, right? And it's just interesting to see how those dynamics play out. I wanted to make sure I mentioned this beforehand. The Jimmy Mackey, he is a guy that came across the Instagram account, and I followed him, and he messaged me. And I was not expecting him to message me, but he did. Again, his name is, the account name is The Jimmy Mack, and really cool guy. So he reaches out, and he's like, hey, are you interested in fitness? And he's a fitness coach. And he said, I noticed that you're in Austin, so am I. And I thought, how cool is this? Now, I just had someone tell me, close to me, that Austin has tons of influencers, and I believe them, but I'm really surprised by how many people are influencers, and I'm constantly finding new ones in the Austin area. And for someone like me, that's major, because I like to collaborate. I love to kind of see where other people are in their journey, but also, how did they approach this, or how are they doing that? And even more so, if I can have them on the show as a guest, I especially love that. I think that's really cool. So, the Jimmy Mack, met him today. We did what he calls, or what a lot of influencers call, a discovery call. And so he kind of asked me about my fitness goals, and I was very honest. And I had to go backwards and share some past, things that I've been through, or things that were holding me back in a sense. And it was really cool. And then he asked me, about the podcast and the show and all of that. And so looking forward to having him on a future episode. So wanted to give him a shout out, the Jimmy Mack. Really enjoyed talking to him. Check him out. I gave him a mention on my story earlier on the Wide Awake account and Hey Bray J Hub. So do me a favor, go check it out. Give him a follow. Shoot him a message. Maybe it's something that would be beneficial to you, whether you're in Austin or not. So I'm very appreciative that I met him. It was very cool. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing for Christmas, what I'm doing for New Year's, because I'm most likely going to be in Austin, and it's my first time in a while away from home during the holidays. I've traveled over the years, so I've been in different cities or places away from family, but right now, being that I've just moved to Austin, it's going to be interesting to see what the dynamic is like, and I don't have plans, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. I see a few people that I met recently tuning in, so I appreciate them for checking out the show. Very low-key show, very chill. It's what we do, especially when it's just me. I'm just hanging out with you. And I cheated, by the way. Since I've been out here in Louisiana, I've been going to bed earlier, and so I just took me about a 30-minute nap because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to have energy. Normally, this is when I am wide awake, no sleep, and as soon as I finish the show, I'm going out to one of the clubs in Austin. But a lot different when you're at home. The family has to get up. I have siblings. They have high school. They're in high school, so they have school in the morning. Parents, work, sleep, the routine. So I'm trying my best to abide by that. Otherwise, if I were wide awake right now, here, I would probably go crazy. I'm just like, too quiet. You know what I mean? Thank you for that. So that's what I'm kind of dealing with right now. Different change of pace, if you will. It's very quiet here, by the way. I'm sitting outside on the patio. It's going to do the show inside. That's the tree, by the way, on the inside. And it was pretty. Could have gotten all the gifts and all that, but it's so quiet. So I was like, let me come outside. Let me enjoy the cold, because I do enjoy cold. Got my hot chocolate to keep me a little bit of company along with you. So here we are. Cheers. I love that. So I mentioned gift giving last episode, but I'm going to ask you, if you could get anything for Christmas or whichever holiday maybe you participate in or not, if someone were going to gift you something and surprise you, what would it be? What is it that you would really want? Is it a material thing? Hey there, how are you? Is it something material or is it something else? I'm all about quality time, so spending time with someone for me is the ultimate gift. It means a lot to me that they would make time for me, but also getting to bond with someone on an intimate level, conversationally, those things are what I love most. So I very much so appreciate that as a gift. Time is very precious, and especially today with people being so busy, that to me is the best gift of all. So I'm curious, what would you like? What would you like to get as a gift for the holiday of Christmas, if you could determine that or decide that? I'm trying to think, I kind of mentioned it last time, but I'm trying to think if I can remember one of the greatest gifts, like tangible items that I'd ever gotten. And I don't know if there's anything in particular. Anytime I need something, so when I get clothes, those type of things, I appreciate those gifts a lot more than something that, is eventually going to fade as far as my interest. So that's always been interesting to me. That's an interesting component. But I've had a few people who get things that I really like, and so I'm always appreciative of that as well. So I broke out the journal again, and I usually try to make sure I mention this on every show. I like that. A friend's presence, it's more than great. A partner setting up a romantic dinner at home would be beautiful as well as a present. I agree. It's very nice. This is my journal. I have like a million of them actually, but this is one of my main brainstorming books and journals. And so I am a huge encourager of journaling, or in some way writing. It can be very therapeutic and very helpful. And so I had taken a break from journaling over the past 2.5, 3 months, and I noticed a difference. And my roommate also, he had been journaling as well, and he took a break, and I noticed a difference. And so if you can start journaling, I definitely encourage you to do it, but also keep it up as much as possible. Even if you're not writing every day, it's so helpful to your mind space, but also emotionally, and so many other ways too. Just kind of getting out on paper your thoughts, your ideas, whether you're a dreamer, as in asleep and dreaming, or a daydreamer. It's really helpful. So I'm going to, in a few minutes, have us kind of, I guess, brainstorm together. We're about to enter the new year, and so I think it's very important that we at least work on listing a few things that we would like to achieve before this year is out, and then a few things that we'd like to achieve within the first, I'll say, 3 weeks of the new year. If you haven't done this already. If you have, then hey, you're already beaten to it. This exercise, right? This feels like unfamiliar territory for me. And I know anytime we enter a new year, obviously we don't know what's to come. So a part of us is like, a little maybe antsy, a little anxious, excited, but at the same time, we don't know what's to come. But for me, this is like totally new territory. So living in another city, I'm very curious to see how things are going to be. I've had 3 or 4 people ask me, how do you like Austin? I absolutely love it. I think it's a beautiful place. I think the people are amazing. And I'm so excited to see what the future holds while I'm in Austin. And as with anything in life, we never know. But we can try to make the most of it, right? And so that's my goal, trying to make the most of that. Here we go, more hot cocoa. Nice and warm. Okay, so I guess we can jump into it. I listed out 5 things. You can do 3, you can do 5, you can do 7, whichever works for you. I'm going to make myself add 7. 7 things I'd like to accomplish before the new year. So one of them is going to be show appreciation. 2, 7 people here at home in Louisiana. My next one will be show appreciation to 7 people in Austin. And then I would like to spend the last, how much time do we have? Let's see, today is the 15th, going to be the 15th. So we have about, let's see here, 16 days, that's right, 16 days until the new year. 17, I think, close, well, it is 14. So let's say about 15 days. My goal is to spend, once I get back into Austin, I'd like to spend at least a week and a half. So I'm going to say 9 days. Spend the last 9 days active in some way. So that's going to Equinox, whether it's riding my bike, whether it's going for a walk, along Lady Bird Lake, or even downtown, any of those things. That's my goal, to do something active. And talking to Jimmy Mack today kind of helped me put what I want into perspective more clearly. And so now it's going to be the goal of mine. Consistency is very difficult. That's why most people aren't successful, it's very hard to continue and not allow anything to get in the way. And especially for me, I get in the way a lot. But then outside factors can affect me because I allow it, and it can derail your consistency or your plan or whatever your goals may be. So, starting before the first, I want to do my best to be consistent for at least 9 days by being active in some way. So I wrote that down. 4, I want to create goals for the first quarter, 3 months. So January, February, and March of 2024. So I ended up going to church last night, and these people were really great. I don't know your stance on Christianity or church or your beliefs, and if you know me at all, I'm very respectful of where everyone is in their life, because we've all been through different things, different experiences. But this group of people, since I've been a teenager, have been consistent. Even when I took breaks from church, or I wasn't going to church, or I wasn't communicating with them, every time I've gone back, they have been so loving and genuine. They genuinely care about me, and I'm so appreciative. And so I was able to see a few people in particular that I've known over the years, and it was so great. Just really needed that. Very encouraging, uplifting, and it kind of gave me that extra momentum, if you will, for when I returned back to Austin, to finish out the year strong and feeling loved, and like there's meaning to this, you know. If you don't have people like that in your life, I strongly encourage you to find them. Sometimes you have to go into unfamiliar territory to find those type of people. You may not find them at the bar or the club. You may not find them at the grocery store. It took me years to find a church that was fitting for me. And even when I found it, certain situations would kind of make me not go back or take major breaks. But at the end of the day, I knew that these people were genuine. And I'm very appreciative that I was able to go back later on as an adult and still have the fondness of the great times, but then also the healing to let go of the bad times and really appreciate those who were, again, consistent and loving during that time. So those things are very important to me. But if you can find people like that in your life, where it doesn't matter what's going on, and you come back years later, they're still there, and just as excited for you and loving you as they were in the past. That's special, and I'm very appreciative of that. Let's see, we're continuing now. If you're just tuning in, we're doing a list of things that we'd like to accomplish before the New Year's. And so my first 4 have been show appreciation to 7 people in Louisiana, where I am now, my home, hometown, home state. Number 2, show appreciation to 7 people in Austin, so new relationships. Number 3, spend the last 9 days active in some way, so 9 out of the, I think that's 2.5 weeks or so remaining of this year, making sure I'm doing something active. And then number 4, creating goals for the first quarter of 2024. So the first 3 months, listing out some goals for myself. Now, 5. I like to spend more time. A lot of people refer to it as meditation. I want to spend quiet time, meaningful time. So I'll use the word meditating. I love being in Metropolitan Park. I love the skyline, but I love the feeling I get. Before I left Austin, we were originally going to leave on Monday. We ended up leaving on Tuesday. Monday evening or afternoon, I went to Metropolitan Park. There's a dog park there and everything else, and it's beautiful. And I hadn't taken off my shoes in a while. I was taught within the past, I guess, 5 or 6 years, grounding. And if you don't know what grounding is, I strongly encourage you to look it up. Grounding can be a variety of things, but the one that works best for me is taking off my shoes and socks and walking on grass or dirt. And that moment of connecting with earth in that way is very, very therapeutic, but also quiet. It's just very tranquil in a way inside. And so I hadn't done it in a while. So that was very important for me, a key moment before I left Austin, connecting in that way, like grounding. In one of my favorite parks, favorite places. And so I strongly encourage you to do that. In some way, it can be water, it can be a variety of things. Again, please look up grounding and see what works best for you. Try them out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to write down 5 days of grounding. Six, something a little fun. I really want to see the movies, Willy Wonka, the new Willy Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet, and Ferrari with Brad Pitt. And so I'm going to write those two down. I'd like to do that before the year ends. Okay, so now I have 6 down. I have 7. All right, how about this? The 7th one we'll keep private. How's that sound? So I did 6. I shared those 6 with you. The 7th one, the things I want to accomplish before the new year, I'm going to write down. Okay. So, if you had your 7, if you're participating, if not, you can do this later in your free time. So now I'm going to write down 7 things that I want to accomplish during the first quarter. For my show, as a podcaster or a show host or digital content creator, whichever you want to call it, I need to find businesses and people to collaborate with. So that's very important. So I just listed 7 things that I'd like to accomplish before the year ends, and now I'm wanting to list 7 things I want to accomplish in the first 3 months of the new year. So finding, I'm going to say, find 3 to 7, I'm going to say creators / influencers / businesses to collaborate with. And then from a second one, I'm going to list, identify 7 ideal potential partners / sponsors. And this is just to give you an idea of something that you can work toward. Some people do this all the time. This is your norm. But a lot of us maybe get distracted or things throw us off. And so wanting to do this with you now with hopes that we get the opportunity to improve and doing it together, I think can be a little more rewarding because you have someone to do it with you. Hello, Blue Green Eyes. Van Sert's ATX. How are you doing? Thank you for tuning in. I'm in Louisiana visiting family, so I'm out here on the patio doing the show this way, this time, and drinking hot cocoa. So, cheers to you. Let's see. What's something else I'd like to accomplish in the first 3 quarters? So, I used to do events here, and my idea of an event is very different than most. I love simplicity. I love being able to take a raw space and I don't want to use the word transform it per se, but I like to show beauty in natural spaces. Okay, cool. I love that. Thank you. So I'd go into a bar where everyone goes normally, and I would kind of put a little spin on it, but when you walk in, you recognize where you are, but we've incorporated some new pieces or a different type of genre of music. And so here in my hometown, it was a big deal because we didn't do that very often. Saved a lot of money because we didn't go all out transforming the space per se, but the vibe was definitely different, the energy was different, and so when people walked in, they recognized it, and it created a very unique atmosphere for the events that I was doing. So, very important. So I want to list plan 3 ideal events to brand Wide Awake and Hey Bray J. Okay, so listed that. What else do I want to do in the first 3 months? And I did spend time earlier this week brainstorming. I've been listing out. I like to do layouts of buildings, something I've always liked to do. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek at that. So I kind of already started brainstorming in my own way. So I like doing layouts. And in doing so, it just helps me kind of visualize what I want. And I create and ideas, things like that. So I've been doing that already. It's really cool because some of these are already identified. I identified a few venues I'd like to work with, a few people that I'd like to work with, concepts, and time frame. So all very important. Let's see. I know that there are a few coffee shops that I wanted to visit in Austin. There's also a few restaurants that I definitely wanted to visit. So I'll go ahead and list those. I say visit 3 new coffee shops and 3 new bar/restaurants. And that's what's in the first 3 years of the new year. I guess I'll put be consistent for number 5 with my Jimmy Mack called it holistic, so I'm going to use that word, but holistic active lifestyle. And hey, in the first of the year, I've never been one to believe in New Year's resolutions personally, but I definitely do believe in goal setting and doing your best to hold yourself accountable. And if you slip up, which you might, not stopping completely and saying, oh, I messed up. It's like, okay, hey, I'm human. I had one day, I ended up staying in. I didn't go work out, or I said I was going to do this, but something came up, or I just flat out didn't do it. It's okay. You gotta give yourself a little bit of grace. So some of us, a lot of grace. And the next day, go for it. Continue. Pick up. Don't stop. Don't stop ever. Keep going. Very important. Let's see. For the 6th thing that I'd like to do within the first 3 months of the new year, I want to spend quality time with 3 people I met this year. Spend quality time. 3 people I met in 2023. Okay. And then let's see, for the 7th thing, I think I'm going to do like I did with the last list, something privately. I'm going to do that. Okay, so I completed my list just to show you. So I have my first 7 here, 7 here, and I encourage you to try it in your free time. And it can be a little challenging, that's the point. We want to challenge ourselves to do some things that we maybe set out to do before that we didn't do, or maybe the timing didn't work out, or maybe something else came up, but picking up when we can and continuing on very important parts of our success as people. So I encourage you to do that in some way, your own pace, your own style. Maybe 7 is too much, maybe you just want to do 3. All great. Maybe you're an overachiever, maybe you want to set 10, but make sure they're realistic. Make sure it's something that you are more likely to actually accomplish and keep to. I think sometimes we set too many huge goals, and we know that there's a chance we won't be able to fulfill them, but we want to. But once we, or if we end up not being able to complete them, or we drop the ball for whatever reason, it can actually give us an even bigger or greater setback. And so I've learned not to overdo it. We need to do it in strides. A friend of mine used to say, slow and steady wins the race. And we all know that. But him saying it was a constant reminder for me, okay, Bray, you don't have to rush it. Be in the moment. You're more likely to be successful if you go with the flow and let things happen naturally. But when we try to force it, even if we can accomplish it, longevity is what matters. So I'm having to constantly remind myself that, especially now. So I think I mentioned this on the last episode. My goal toward the mid-mark of January is to expand the show to Tuesdays and Thursdays. So instead of just Thursday nights at 11, it'll also be Tuesday nights. Now, I'm still deciding. It may end up being that I do guests early on, or earlier. So Tuesdays at 7, Thursdays at 11. And I'm still deciding how I want to do it. What that would do is give an opportunity for guests who maybe 11 o'clock is too late, because the show is meant to be a late night show, especially for people who can't go to sleep. You're awake, wide awake. That's what the term means. But kind of giving another option, Tuesday nights at 7. So I'm thinking about it. Or maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11. Still figuring it out. And eventually I do want to expand to Sunday, where I do a read-along, or like a book club for the show. Reading is something I need to put on the list because I need to read more. So I'm going to add another overarching read. I bought some really good books at the end of last year and just started them. I didn't actually complete them, so definitely want to do that. The pastor last night at the church that I went to, Pastor George is his name, he said, I think he said, expecting more in 2024, or expecting more in 2024, the rhyme thing. But it was cool because I do want to have greater expectations for me, but also where I'm at in my life. And so I don't want the mundane. I don't want to play it safe. I don't want to be timid or insecure, any of those things that I have been at times in the past. I want to live with a boldness and expectation that this year is going to bring me so much more in every way. And it's going to be all good. It's going to be very beneficial to me and the people I love and the communities that I love. And Austin, as well as my hometown, Lake Charles, but Texas, Louisiana, the South, very much so mean a lot to me. And so I'm going to be praying for blessings and having greater expectation for all these areas, so that everyone can feel some level of love, respect, worthiness, worth, self-worth. All those things are important to me. So there we go. Kind of fits the overarching theme. I'm going to go ahead and ask you again. If there's anything that you would like to explore with me and the show, I ask that you send me a DM or an email, wideawakeslumberparty.USA@gmail.com or wideawakeslumberparty right here on Instagram. And maybe it's something we can work on together. Maybe you can say, Bray, I've always wanted to achieve this, and I don't know how, or I'd like like to work with you to make it happen. And a few years ago, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, here I started doing very light consulting. And I've consulted with people in different capacities over the years, but I had a few people coming to me, and so I offered it. And I said, hey, if you need someone to kind of help give you guidance or insight, I'd be happy to. And so I really enjoyed doing that. Most people have really great ideas. Execution is very difficult, even for me at times. It's like, I can help anyone else achieve their goals. But for some reason, there ends up being like this block or overarching cloud that kind of like blocks out the sun. So it makes it a little harder to see things, a little foggy. But if you deal with any of those things, hey, reach out. I'd love to be there and help. This show, mental health, self-care, all of those things, so important to me. And I hope that you prioritize yourself in the good ways, not selfishly per se, but making sure that you're in a good space this new year. And it's always best to start right before. That way you're more likely to ease into the new year by already doing it. But that's just a suggestion. So you do what you have to do. It's interesting. I've had better Santa hats, by the way. But this is what I have left. So here we are. I've been feeling heaviness. I think I've been sharing with you for the past 3 or 4 shows now. People close to me, of course, have been sharing that they've been dealing with depression and things like that. But I also feel it in a variety of ways. So if you know someone who may be struggling, I believe in prayer. I believe that it works. Positive intentions, whatever you want to call it. Keep them in mind and really hope good for them. I believe in, for lack of a better word, karma. And so I believe that even when I'm angry at someone, or I'm very hurt because they took advantage of a situation or hurt me or whatever, which I've done the same, we're human, we have moments, instead of channeling that and making it in a negative way, I like to try and step back and actually think good thoughts for them. I believe that it, in turn, comes back and affects us in a good way as well. So I'm challenging you to consider that. Even if it's your enemy, finding something where you're able to say, okay, I want to be better. I want to do better. So I'm going to put in good thoughts towards this person or pray for them. And I believe that we benefit in a large way too. So I want to encourage you with that as well. I wanted to say thank you. If you've tuned into this show at all, whether it's for a second, checking it out, whether it's for a full episode, whether you watch it later, I just want to say thank you so much. And there's so many people that I've met in the past 5.5 months who have changed my life for the better. And just seeing them makes me feel good on the inside. Having that community is great. And I'm so appreciative to have that, especially being in a new city. So wherever you are, wherever you may be experiencing good, bad, indifferent, I really hope the best for you as we wrap up this year and enter a new year. And I'm really excited to see what's to come. So on that note, sweet dreams. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me for Wide Awake Slumber Party, the #1 slumber party in the USA. Thank you and good night.